Hello everybody, welcome to Fallout 4. This is a quick video on my wide atrium build. This isn't a tutorial how to build an atrium. If you're looking for a tutorial, I would look at Elite One's channel. I'll post his link in my description. This is just to quickly show how I did it, and I did it after I had already built my Vault 88. So this is an add-on on top of what I already had in place. So the trick here, what you had to do to get the wide atrium roof is you have to try and go up and build a level above the atrium roof, and you only really need one wall to do that, and then you can put floors. So the trick is to actually put floors. So and not all pieces actually connect properly, so it's really tricky and it's a pain to actually get this to work properly. But as you notice, at the back of my atrium I have one level up, and then just beneath that I have floors that actually make up the roof, because the atrium pieces that actually generally create the roof are really small. So you have the two side pieces and they attach together and you have a really small atrium. But that's not what I wanted. I wanted a really wide atrium. I don't want to be limited in size. So as you can see, I have a really wide atrium, and what you're looking at the top is really floors that are added on top. So it actually worked out quite nicely once you get used to trying to click it together, right? So that's what I did. The pieces are really tricky to get to click together. You just have to kind of persevere and keep trying. I used different pieces, and then what I did is I used the piece that actually had the levels on it. I swapped them around so it faced backwards, and then once I added the second piece, which made the roof, one of these side pieces on my left here, I then pulled out the original piece and I replaced it with a single piece in one of the locations, right? And I'll show you that in a sec, the back once we get there. So there you go. This is what I did. I already had this room behind me, which is my office and my bedroom, already built, and I wanted to add onto it. So this corner was the only piece that I didn't redo. I didn't want to have to redo my patio, but if I had pulled the patio to pieces, I could have finished this last piece. But I just left it as is. It doesn't really bother me. But if you wanted a completely atrium, then you'd have to pull out pieces, right? So like I said, this is an add-on to my original Vault 88. I didn't build the atrium from scratch, so if you are building an atrium from scratch, then you can just add on to it, right? So the other neat thing with this atrium build is I can add a whole bunch of extra rooms if I wanted to by just pulling out the walls. So loads of room to actually build stuff just underneath these pieces. So if you attach just kind of the pieces that make up the roof, then and put walls underneath, then whenever you wanted to add additional rooms, you could actually do that. So this is my main bedroom area where I just built. This was probably the first area that I built. I wanted to get the highest area that overlooks atrium. I didn't want to assign it to overseer in my case. And then I decided, when I saw Elite One's video, that's when I decided, well, let me try put an atrium in. I wasn't really bothered that I didn't have an atrium, but it might actually just look a little bit nicer, right? So that's what I did. So hopefully you found that useful. So if you do want a wide atrium, just make sure you go 3 levels up, and the level that makes up the roof is a level where you can actually put a floor, and then you can actually join those pieces onto that floor, and it clicks in generally okay. So let me just go up here and I'll show you those two last pieces that are a little tricky. So you can see at the end here, which is kind of just underneath my office. Let's just try and go back. So if I wanted to extend this area into rooms, I could totally do that by just pulling out these walls on the left. If you decide not to use the pieces that have the decks, obviously if you use the pieces that have the decks, you won't be able to do that. In my case, I didn't want to use those, and I just wanted a atrium, not necessarily to add additional levels into the atrium. So just a slightly different build than possibly that you may or may not do. So these are the ones where I said are a little tricky. These end pieces are tricky. So I actually used the wrong. I used the piece that was meant for the other side of the room, and I flipped it around so I could actually use. So the actual piece that has the dexes on the outside, So that corner was a little tricky. And then the other piece, when I added the deck, I added this piece that we were just looking at, and then I pulled out the original tall piece. So this is a piece where it's actually backwards. You can actually see the walls actually backwards. So that was my trickiest piece to actually get that to fit properly. And then if you look on the other side of the room, it's actually faced properly. It has the proper side of the wall. So this is a piece that I had the deck, and then I added the piece on the right to it, and then I added the single piece that doesn't have the deck, and then you can actually flip it around and it looks pretty nice.